I'm Deborah Shariff, and you can see right beside me, I have another author. I want the streamers to welcome John Slocum. Am I saying that correctly, your last name?
Yes, you are. Perfect.
Okay. So, welcome to Success Talk. I'm so excited that you're here with us.
Thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Absolutely. And I just wanted the streamers to know a little bit about you, John. So I was impressed with your background and I want them to check it out. John Slocum is originally from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. He currently has roots in South Florida, Cali, and Colombia. He has significant executive management experience in the for profit and nonprofit sectors. He holds a BS in information technology from Barry University, Miami, Florida, as well as cyber security license. John has an active entrepreneurial spirit as well as a keen social service mind. One of his passions is finding ways to have a positive impact in the community. He has done so by assisting more than 20 nonprofits and by starting, which I can't wait to talk to you about, the Servant Leader Network in South Florida. In addition, he's the co founder of two additional nonprofits and sits on the board of directors. And I want to make sure I'm saying this correctly Kaijana,
Kijana.
Kijana, okay,
Yes.
Kijana Educational Employment Initiative, a school recognized for excellence in Kenya, Africa. Mr. Slocum personally prepared paperwork, websites, and funding for another for profits that are currently addressing critical areas such as crime prevention, health, and homelessness. He wrote The Science of Feeling Good, which is currently undergoing revision and is in the process of launching his personal development coaching program, which is based on his book. The sister book, Control How You Feel and Heal, is scheduled for release in the summer of 2022. Welcome, John. Talk to us.
Uh,
How was you
well,
inspired to write this book and inspired to do the work that you're doing?
again, thanks for having me. It's wonderful to be here. The book was born
Excuse me.
out of one of the most traumatic events of my life. I had a stroke, and there was little hope given to me by the medical profession to make a full recovery. And the prognosis, if I did make any type of recovery, was grim, especially when it came to the brain. Uh, with the stroke came a what was identified or diagnosed as a traumatic brain injury, and that brain injury affected my memory and my emotions, and I just couldn't keep things together. But despite what they said, what the medical community told me, I'm a firm believer in an Almighty God, and I knew that if I had that faith, that I would get better, that I would. And not only did I get better, we'll be able to show a photo to see the transformation.
Well,
I
we
was
can
able to,
show it. We can show it right now.
wow, let's show it. So not only did I get better, I was literally transformed. At my peak, after this illness, I was taking over 20 different meds, as you can see on the screen there. And I wasn't getting better. I could only feel myself slipping away. And my appearance, as you can see in the photo, it was such I couldn't recognize myself anymore. And not even Google could with their facial recognition. Uh, they could not tell who I was, even with the latest technology. So that's how bad it got. But with the system that I came up with in terms of healing myself and refusing to give up, I did the research and found out that we can heal ourselves, using our breath and our emotion and using the vagus nerve to heal ourselves, and also using our feel good chemicals and using those on demand. But the most impressive thing to me was that everything that I needed to get better was already inside of me. I didn't have to purchase anything from the outside. And the only thing that you need, that we all need, the only thing that any of us need from the outside is water air to make ourselves better, or to heal ourselves, or to overcome obstacles that we're facing, to get the energy that we need to keep on. But I'll let you get in there, and because I
No,
talk all day about.
this is a talk show. Keep talking. I mean, I was impressed with the fact of the self healing, because that's something that I always believed in, that we
Yeah.
have the power to heal ourselves. And having said that, when you talk about what motivated you to write this book and what your challenge was in your health, it's your proof right there. You
Yes.
look fabulous. You look wonderful.
Well,
And
thank you.
just like you said, I love what you said. My recovery from a devastating stroke and resulting brain injury, I lost everything but hope.
Yes.
And I think that's what we need. We definitely need that. And I know that your book will not be out until the summer of 2022, but I want you to call for action. If when it does come out, where can we find it, John?
Yes. Well, you can find the book is out now. Even though it's undergoing revision, you can find the science of feeling good. I'll hold it up here uh, on
Oh,
Amazon.
I didn't
Uh,
know. Oh my goodness, I would have had that up.
so no,
Okay.
that's no. I purposely didn't send it out. I'm going to show you. We're going to talk about how disappointments can become blessings. Uh, when I wrote the book, I just wanted to write what I was going through. It was more or less a therapeutic for me to write about it, because I had all of these emotions bottled up, and really didn't know how to overcome it, even though I was undergoing therapy, psychological and psychiatric. And the psychological and psychiatric was because of the stroke. The stroke was because of an injury, of an operation that I had on my back. It wasn't because I was ill. And after the operation, and all of the breathing tubes were removed, I didn't wake up.
Oh,
And they were unable to reinsert the breathing tube back inside of me. And because of the oxygen, there was no oxygen going to the brain at that precise moment. I suffered the stroke, had a cardiac event, and the brain injury.
mm.
So I just wanted to write a book about the experience. But when I wrote the book, COVID hit, and I was under a deadline to get the book out, and I signed off on the book, and what was published was actually my draft instead of the
Oh,
edited version.
are you a self-published author, John?
Now, I actually used a company to do it for me, but
Okay.
because I signed off on it, they published what I signed off on, and I was actually I had COVID in the worst way imaginable, and I
Mm.
was able to use my methods to recover from COVID as well. But I just wanted to document what I was doing instead of telling my story, and instead of sharing the secrets that everyone can use to heal themselves, and everyone can use to arrest stress immediately, and to share the secrets that everyone that's living can use, regardless of where they live, what their economic situation is, their education. And that was always a desire of mine, to create something that everyone can use. And in my philosophy, I want everyone to feel good, and hence the title of the book, The Science of Feeling Good. But yes, I was
It,
able to heal myself, and the revised book will actually highlight the methods that I use. I've actually assigned names to them, like the lab system, which is love, appreciation, and breathing, because we use the emotion of love, which is the highest expression of who we are. As a matter of fact, our emotions are the highest expression of who we are. So if we feel love, if we feel compassion, if we feel joy, I mean, these are the times when we feel most alive. So in the
mhm.
book, I'm actually able to help you to use these emotions, and releasing feel good chemicals that on demand, and using the most valuable player in your body, which is your vagus nerve, which helps you to control and calm down your whole entire nervous system. I showed the way to just blend these all together, and we can literally rewire our brains to become happier people within a matter of minutes. I mean,
Wow.
we're talking science and how we're made. And the beautiful thing is, all of this information has only been available for like the last 10 or 15 years.
Hmm.
So,
Now,
am I?
John, is that the same as you said to ask about the lab system and
Yes,
dosing?
yes, yes,
Okay, and then the blend. So can
yes.
you kind of explain that to somebody like, myself who doesn't know anything about what lab system or dosing is all about? Please
Yes.
explain.
Yeah, as I started to mention, the lab system is based on love, appreciation, and breathing. Uh, I use appreciation because it's a higher form of gratitude. To appreciate you, I have to know to appreciate what you've done for this show tonight. I know what the technology that you've used, the time that you spent to put that technology together, and that's an appreciation. I can appreciate that. Whereas gratitude says, "Wow, I'm glad she's doing that. That makes me feel good." So appreciation is like gratitude in motion,
Hmm.
and it's just like compassion is love in motion. So love, appreciation, and breathing is like the first level to address the stress and the fear that we're constantly under.
What
Whether it's
what
the
do you
bad.
actually do? What's an example? Is it that it's almost like
Oh
you're in a meditative state, John?
yes, oh yes, yeah. The lab method makes you meditate without even realize that you're meditating, right? Because you actually get those effects from it, and it's just inhaling for a count of four, holding it for a count of four, and exhaling for a count of four through the mouth. Inhale for a count of four, hold for a count of four, exhale for a count of four. Now, this time when you do it, I want you to smile. Inhale for a count of four, hold for a count of four, exhale for a count of four. Here's why the smile was so important. We get the most, and you can feel the effects of that immediately because of the smile itself. The smile takes us into dosing, which is dopamine, oxytocin, serotonin, and endorphins. These are our
Hmm.
feel good chemicals that we can release on demand with a simple smile. If we woke up every morning and just laid there in the bed for 10 minutes and just smiled, you're literally telling your brain that, we're feeling good, we're all right, and there's no fear, no stress, and your whole system will begin to relax, your whole nervous system.
Wow.
And the
Is
nervous system actually controls our emotion.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Is it close, John, to like energy? I was
It,
doing some energy work where, what you do is you actually start to do the tapping sensation and it just like kind of wakes up your body. Is that
right.
a little
It,
similar to that?
it's absolutely in that realm. And we are energy. We are absolutely energy. Every part of our body. We have so many cells in our body. The scientific community can't come up with the number that they agree on, but it's from 37 to 100 trillion cells in our body. Every one of those cells, each of those 37 trillion cells has atoms in it, and one cell has 100 trillion atoms. So we have all of this energy pulsating through our bodies, but we have no idea it's there because we're concerned about what's going on in the outside world.
Hmm.
We've never been directed to focus on the treasure inside. And the treasure really is connecting with that energy that we have, that divine spark that we have within us that allows us to heal ourselves. So the lab system was love, appreciation, and breathing. That's how we slow down the nervous system. The vagus nerve is what we use with the blend method, which again is the breathing, the love, our emotions. The N is the nervous system, and the D is dosing. So B blended in the system is B, breathing, L, love, E, emotions, N, nerve for controlling our nervous system, and D is for dosing. Dosing is the feel good chemicals that we can release on demand when we need them to arrest stress, which is literally killing us.
Mm. Stress is, as a matter of fact, there was one scientific journal, John, that mentioned that stress it causes cancer, and
Yes,
that like frightened me. And I said, "Oh my goodness!"
yes,
I have a little kitty who has a massive tumor, and but he jumps around, he's fine. And so I've been trying to use Reiki to, to heal him. He has a team of oncologists because I love my little boy Kitty.
Right,
Um,
right.
and also I bought some healing books, and that's how I started to find out about energy, how energy works, etc. So I use Reiki, and I also just send him, some healing words, and it's like he understands. But
Yes.
but again, when you talk about pets, you talk about humans. I think it's the same type of healing. Would you agree?
No, it absolutely is. And we're using the same energy. Listen, we know now that thoughts have energy. We can literally write thoughts, write just by thinking now. We have that technology. Uh, we have the technology now to use our thought to change channels. There was a company, I don't remember their name, but they was at the last South by Southwest Expo in Texas, and they introduced the remote control that you control by your thoughts or
Wow.
the energy that these thoughts put out. So every part of us literally is energy, and we have to know how to use it. And unfortunately, we don't.
Mm. Can I show
So,
that picture again just for people who might have just streamed in? You know how
oh,
the
absolutely,
social media
absolutely.
is. I'm just going to show, and as a matter of fact, I'm going to take me off, and so you.
Okay, so I love seeing this picture because it allows me to reflect on the good things that happen. Out of every uh, tragedy, that if we don't give up, we can turn that into hope, right? Right. As I love to use the butterfly and the stages that it goes through, and that last stage as a caterpillar before it emerges. It's like total destruction, and then this beautiful butterfly emerges at that moment because they didn't give up the process in the process. So I was taking over 20 different meds. Today I take absolutely none. I had a memory deficit for years. As a matter of fact, the first 2 years after the stroke, I don't remember anything. I just remember being picked up every day, going to physical therapy, going to
Mm,
the psychologist, and once a month going to the psychiatrist. And I did have great care because, as I mentioned, the stroke happened after a medical procedure.
mm-hmm,
And they couldn't reinsert the breathing tubes because I had fluids in my throat. And the moments that were wasted allowed this event, this cardiac event in the stroke to happen, which, by the way, took almost 10 years to recover. So
wow.
for the first 8 years, I had really no short term memory. The first 2 years, I had no memory, and then in the next 6 years, uh, I just had spotty short term memory. And I specifically remember one time my neurologist told me, he said, "Why don't you stop, you know, hurting yourself? Just accept your condition. You're all right. You receive the settlement. You don't have to work anymore. Just stop killing yourself.
Mm-mm. Never.
Never,
No.
ever,
No.
ever give up." So he helped me come up with the name No Limits. There's no limits to what we can do. So I
Absolutely.
coined the expression No Limits Guru because I found out about that energy that we all have inside of us
Mm-hmm.
and how we can use it at our command within a couple of moments, and then control the key factors in our body, our emotions. We can
Mm.
do that just by reflecting on love. We can do that by not reflecting on, if we do 100 things right, we can do that by not reflecting on that one wrong. We come back and we enjoy the moment of the things we did right. We're literally taught to reflect on, bad decisions, bad moments in school. You know, we mark the test wrong. We put an X on it, and all the attention goes on that X, right?
Yes. Absolutely.
So,
Absolutely.
we're just bringing us back to the moment. I'm saying to everyone, if you practice feeling good, if you want to feel good, I can show you how to practice that. You'll feel the effects within 2 minutes or less. And if you continue to practice for 30 days or more, you're literally we rewire your brain. improve your emotional baseline, your resilience, and
Wow.
everything they talk about. You literally change your thoughts. You
And
have it.
the reason health is so important, I'm looking at your bio, and we need to be healthy in order to do the things that we need to do in our lifetime.
Absolutely.
Yes, and
Here's
if
what was shocking, Deborah. I'm going to say this while I'm thinking about
sure,
it. Uh,
yeah.
when we're under stress, when we're fearful, we literally lose access to the prefrontal lobe here of our
Mm,
brain. Our executive center where we make our decisions, our planning, and everything is here. On the left side is where our personality and where we feel joy and we feel fulfillment and contentment. That's right here in this part of the brain, the prefrontal cortex. So as we're stressed out, and the body wants to find out why are we stressed, and it's going to send that energy to put you on guard. And when you're on guard, you're dripping cortisol, which is a stress hormone. You're dripping adrenaline, which is a stress hormone, because you're ready to 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 address whatever this is that's making me stressed. The problem is, if it's a one-time thing, we respond to it. But if it just continues on, like the pandemic, and it continues on the war, and it continues on the financial pressures, and it continues on the educational pressures, and it continues on the relationship pressures, and this drip, it's just taking the entire nervous system. It's what they call dysregulating it, and you literally lose complete access to this part of the brain that makes us who we are.
mm, wow. And I just have to mention, this is so healing. I'm sure for folks who are tuning in, I know it's healing for me because you talk about stress. I'm a full-time professor and I teach remotely, and let me tell you, John,
It's
it is
yes,
it is stressful. And when you talked about because of your health challenge, you actually was forced into retirement. Well, I'm ready to retire. And this is what I want to do. I want to, bring about some wonderful people like yourself and use this technology because that's what I teach. I teach media, technology, media studies, TV production, whatever you can think of in the media, I teach. And I said,
very good.
how can I, make that transition from teaching to all the information I've acquired. So this is why we're here on this platform. And this is what I love doing. So having said
Yes,
that, I want to share and I want to get more into what you were talking about in terms of the stress and healing. But I want to also ask you about the Servant Leader Network. Can you speak to that?
yes. Um, in our community in South Florida, we have several nonprofit organizations that are doing fabulous work, but there's a lot of duplication of efforts, and no one was talking amongst the different groups that I could see. That there were outside groups that where people would loosely get together in, but I wanted to bring all of the leaders together, specifically of the nonprofit in the nonprofit world, and see what we could do to serve one another. Because our compassion, our mission, we all felt as our mission was to serve and to help others. But I felt it was very important for us to serve one another as servants.
Mm-hmm.
And some tremendous people responded. Some doctors and lawyers and teachers and the whole community came together to see how we could help one another. But I think the surprising thing there, Deborah, is we never even had a mission statement. We just wanted to come together to talk about what are our challenges, what can we do amongst ourselves to support one another, and it was very fulfilling. And out of the Servant Leader Network, that's how I became affiliated with the school in Kenya, Kijana, and now I serve on the board of directors in Kenya, and we take underprivileged children to the motherland, to Kenya. We'll be able to do that again, hopefully soon, so they can see the world from a different lens, you see, and see where our roots really are.
You're doing tremendous work. How can someone get in touch with you? That's one thing that I did not have. So can you tell me, and I can actually type it here in my streaming studio. So
Yes,
tell us
yes.
how we can get in touch. And while I'm streaming, let me just put you here in the front so I can actually, okay, let me open up a stream,
Mhm.
and I'm opening it up right now. And how can someone get in touch with you?
RealNoLimitsGuru.com. It's that all the
Real
information is there.
no limit.
RealNoLimitsGuru.com.
Let me see if
And
I'm spelling this right, John. REAL, no limits, guru, GURU,
.com. Perfect.
at, oh, .com.
Uh-huh.
Okay. All right.
So
Now I'm going to
that's my
show it.
website. Go there. It will show you some of the things that I've talked about tonight. The program in terms of blending and the lab system
Mhm.
will be released pretty soon. It will coincide with the release of the sister publication entitled "Control How You Feel and Heal." And I want to say this
So,
from the scientific standpoint. Uh,
sure.
we've taken information from the world of quantum physics at the quantum level or at the subatomic level. That's where all of the building blocks of everything is at that subatomic level. Uh, the laws of physics do not apply to the subatomic world. The speed of light, the speed of sound, none of that applies. And we've gotten some wonderful innovations in technology from there. MRI machines to be able to see through a person's body. That came directly from quantum physics. So we have quantum computing. So the energy we're talking about is at that level. Thoughts, the very thoughts that we think 60 to 70,000 thoughts per day. 90 to
Mm,
95% of them are the same thoughts that you had yesterday and the day before. And it's been theorized that these thoughts goes back for generations. And if you haven't taken the time to examine what you think and how you think, you're really just regurgitating what your environment has given you, what your parents have given you. You really haven't stepped up to find out who you are because you haven't examined your thoughts. And that creates a lot of inner turmoil for us because we want to create and become attached, find out who we really are. But we have these
mm.
thoughts that have been running through us. And it's really down at this subatomic level, at the quantum level. So I studied that. I provided keys for everyone that we can use, to tap into that energy and tap into those cells that we have and apply the emotions to our nervous system to the stress to get us calmed down, and then we can get access to who we truly are in that prefrontal cortex that
John,
will
I
really.
have to say this. I was, because of, changing my studio to my son's house and
Uh-huh.
doing all this stuff, as you mentioned, the technology, I was a little stressed. But when I did that little simple exercise, I am so relaxed. I have my feet up right now, and I'm breathing and I'm smiling, and
Yeah.
just your words of suggestion has just changed me all of a
Yes.
sudden. So my question, we have less than a minute.
Okay.
Make sure I have here real, let
No
me see,
limits, guru.
no
Uh-huh.
limits. Is that right? You can see it on the screen, correct?
Yes, I can. That's
Okay. I
fine.
want to make sure that that's right. That's how we can get a hold of John Slocum. And John, what are your parting words? Like I said, when I was driving over here, I remembered your slogan that said, "Life is an echo. What you send out comes back." So I made sure I didn't honk the guy that was in front of me doing stupid stuff
That's right.
because
You
it's so
know,
important. But what is
my-
some parting words? We have less than a minute that you can
you know,
share with our streamers.
just have faith. Uh, in the scientific community, we all know about the placebo effect. Uh, in the pharmaceutical world really hate the placebo because many times the placebo, just giving people sugar pill, actually outperforms the drugs that they're trying to introduce to us. So, that coincides with faith in placebo. So I call it get popping, the power of the placebo, the power of persistence, the power of practice. Practice feeling good. the power of prayer as a believer, all of those tied directly into our emotions, we can change and become who we want to be by healing ourselves internally, because everything we need is already inside.
Wow. That is pretty awesome. Thank you, John. Please come
Thank
back.
you. I
You're
certainly
welcome,
will.
because we're going to have a forum with all the authors, and we're going to talk about our books and really expose some of the information that we feel that the community, the world community, should know. So I just want you to stand by before I say goodbye. I just want to mention our next program is going to be Maxine Blake, all the way from the UK. So I know you can't wait to hear from her. And John, again, thank you so much for being a
Thank
part
you.
of Success Talk. It's you're my third person that I've had on this particular forum, and I'm so excited. And let's stay in touch. And I definitely want to get a hold of that book, by the way. So
Thank you. Thank you.
definitely, I will check out your website. But thanks again. And thank you, streamers, for checking us out. This is Deborah Shariff with Success Talk. Until next time.